Hey everybody, this is Tracy here with another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here today with a few videos in the case of the Eastern District of New York versus Robert Sylvester Kelly. And we're going to start off with this first video, which is a response from the government. As you guys know, in my last video, I talked about the fact that Jennifer Bonjean wanted to delay the sentencing for Mr. Kelly, which is set for May 4th, because she felt that once he goes through the process of talking with the mitigation analysts or specialists, which is the person that'll go in and talk to him, you know, about his childhood, his background, any issues he might have, like he'll talk about the fact that he has dyslexia or whatever learning disability that he has, his upbringing. We know that there was some issues, you know, with molestation and that type of thing in his childhood. And so she doesn't want him to go through this process and then have the government use what he says in the process leading up to his sentencing against him in the Northern District of Illinois. She wants to delay that. And then also she let the judge know that, you know, she's handling the Northern District of Illinois case and she doesn't think she's going to be able to get a continuance in that, as well as Mr. Cosby has a civil case coming up in May also. And so she needs time to prepare for that. And she just feels that if she allows Mr. Kelly to go through this process, that could potentially violate his constitutional rights to a fair trial. And so the government responded, and this is what they had to say. It says, Dear Judge Donnelly, the government respectfully submits this letter to strenuously oppose the defendant's March 29, 2022 motion to adjourn the sentencing in the above captioned matter. The defendant, Robert Kelly, is currently scheduled to be sentenced on May 4th, 2022 at 10 a.m. The court set the sentencing date on September 27, 2021, the date the jury found the defendant guilty on all counts. The defendant's current counsel, Ms. Jennifer Bonjean, entered her notice of appearance approximately 1 month later on October 29, 2021. In her motion, defense counsel seeks an adjournment of the sentencing until a date after the defendant's trial in the Northern District of Illinois, which is currently scheduled to commence on August 1st, 2022. Primarily because she claims she cannot otherwise adequately protect Mr. Kelly's constitutional rights at sentencing in this case without compromising his Fifth Amendment rights in the Northern District of Illinois case. Even assuming, arguendo, that is so, there are other ways to effectively address defense counsel's stated concern that she cannot advise Mr. Counsel to be examined or interviewed by a mitigation expert for sentencing in this case if his words might be used against him in some manner in his pending Northern District of Illinois trial. As an initial matter, given that the defendant has essentially challenged every aspect of his conviction as set forth in his post-trial motions and likely also intends to appeal his conviction should his post-trial motions prove unsuccessful, it strains credulity that the defendant would say something to a potential mitigation expert that would incriminate him in the Northern District of Illinois matter. To the extent the defendant intends to appropriately highlight his own background and characteristics as Section 3553A factors, the court should consider as sentencing as mitigation, he can do so and surely intends to do so without admitting his guilt given his likely appeal. In addition, this speculative concern can be entirely ameliorated. I'm sure I'm pronouncing these words wrong because it's like 6 o'clock in the morning and I jumped up because I got lazy last night and did not do this. I said I was going to wait till in the morning. Anyway, by adopting the following procedure, to the extent the defendant engages a mitigation expert, the court can permit defense counsel to file the mitigation report or relevant portions of it under seal. The undersigned assistant United States attorneys, who constitute a separate prosecution team from those prosecuting the Northern District of Illinois case, will not share any such mitigation report with anyone involved in the Northern District of Illinois prosecution, and to the extent there is any concern in this regard, would welcome a court order further prohibiting any such disclosure. Like, we gonna really trust them not to share the information? Do they think we are crazy? Do they think he is crazy? And do they think that Jennifer Bonjean would actually trust them not to share the information? Such a procedure would entirely eliminate any risk that the defendant's words might be used against him in some manner in his pending Northern District of Illinois trial, and thus obviate. What is wrong with me? Oh, Lord. Obviate the defendant's purported need for sentencing adjournment. Nor is it accurate to suggest that there is no prejudice from adjourning the defendant's sentencing. Under the Crime Victims' Rights Act, the defendant's victims have both the right to be reasonably heard at any public proceeding in the district court involving sentencing and the right to proceedings free from unreasonable delay. As proven at trial, the defendant engaged in wide-ranging and extensive criminal conduct involving multiple victims with impunity for decades. His victims have waited years to see the defendant held to account and sentenced for his crimes. Moreover, in reliance on the date set by the court in September 2021, many victims have cleared their schedules to travel from other states to New York to attend and be heard at the May 4th, 2022 sentencing hearing. Child, they must be don't know that their so-called victims don't even want to be bothered anymore, because they really didn't think that y'all were going to take it this far. Okay, like they thought this was a joke. So exactly what are they going to get up there and say? Is the government going to prepare their remarks like they prepared their testimony in the case? Is that what is going to happen? So child, anyway, delaying the defendant's sentencing until after the Northern District of Illinois trial, which will presumably last several weeks, is not reasonable in the circumstances, particularly where, as here, the above described procedure will alleviate defense counsel's purported constitutional concern. In addition, as the court is aware, the defendant is currently housed in Brooklyn, New York, while awaiting sentencing. The United States Marshals will need to arrange for his in-custody transfer to the Northern District of Illinois prior to his trial there. Delaying his sentence until after his Northern District of Illinois trial is inefficient and will result in needless expense and delay by requiring his transfer back to the district for sentencing after the Northern District of Illinois trial, and then back again to the Northern District of Illinois for sentencing there. Well, y'all wasn't worried about the expense when y'all had the man locked up for, what has it been, 2.5 years now? Over 2.5 years. I think July will be 3 years. You wasn't worried about the expenses as you were delaying this trial and probably paying off people and offering people things that they probably didn't deserve. But anyway, now all of a sudden expense is an issue. So finally, defense counsel's other professional obligations are not a basis to adjourn the sentencing hearing, which has been on the calendar since September 27, 2021. Defense counsel was aware of the sentencing date when she entered a notice of appearance. in this case, and when she later decided to become the defendant's counsel in the Northern District of Illinois case. Like all lawyers who appear before this court, defense counsel handles more than one matter at a time, which is the norm for experienced litigators. As an experienced attorney, defense counsel is undoubtedly capable of meeting her professional obligations in this case and her other cases. Let me go back up here. There was a note at the bottom of this other page, and the note says, indeed, the same alleged concern would apply in the event the defendant were to be granted a new trial after appeal. Given that the same purported concern would exist even after the Northern District of Illinois trial, the existence of the Northern District of Illinois trial cannot serve as a valid basis to delay the defendant's sentences. I mean, like, you've been holding the man without bond all this time. I'm not understanding why it's so important that you now rush to get this sentence. I mean, either way, he's still going to be in custody. So what difference does it make? So anyway, child, them heifers over there at the Eastern District of New York, United States Attorney's Office. So what? Oh, then there's another note. Miss Bonjean entered a notice of appearance in the Northern District of Illinois case on February 18th, 2022. So, child, this is how our tax dollars get wasted, because we pay their salaries. Our taxes pay their salaries. Our taxes pay for these people to treat you as citizens the way that they do. And the other day, what were we talking about on Twitter? Oh, so they were talking about the Brittany Griner chick, and just how it's awful that she could be held till May 19th, before she'll have a hearing about her release, and that the Russian government also stated that it could be up to a year and a half before she actually has a trial. And the white folks was really outraged and upset on Twitter upon hearing this news. And I'm sitting there like, are y'all crazy? When the United States itself detains people for years upon years upon years without ever actually taking them to trial. We have the Khalif Browder boy who was held for like 3 years, and then when he was finally released, he committed suicide. And then I read a story last week about this guy, I believe he's in Texas, who I believe he was recently released. That's why the story was in the news. But this man has been held for 8 years in horrible conditions because the government is trying to get him to plead guilty to lesser charges. And so it finally worked in his favor where, somebody shed the right light on it. And the man was able to be released, and now he say he's suing everybody. But how do you hold somebody in a civilized country for 8 years without bringing them to trial? Like, if that is not a violation of his constitutional rights, I don't know what is. But anyway, that was the Eastern District of New York's response to delaying the sentencing. They think that it is absurd, that it would be just a miscarriage of justice if Ann Donnelly allows this sentencing to be delayed, and they promise with their pinky swear, with their fingers crossed behind their back, that they would not, that if Jennifer Bonjean files the information to the mitigation expert under seal, they pinky swear, okay, fingers crossed behind their back, that they would not share that information with the Northern District of Illinois. And if y'all believe that, hey, I got some land to sell y'all in Florida. Okay. So anyway, that's it for me in this video, and I will be back with the other two. So go ahead, leave your comments below, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I shall talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.